Okay, let's walk through the problem. We're given something pretty unusual here, and we're given the sine of pi x is equal to the sine of x. All right. So one thing we know that there's going to be a period to this over here. So the first thing I do is going to say sine of pi x is going to be sine. This kit repeats itself every 2 pi n. All right. So my claim over here, this argument will equal that argument there. Let's write that down. Pi x equals x plus 2 pi n. Oh, by the way, n is an integer. And let's see what they get. Pi x minus x equals 2 pi n. I'm going to factor out an x because I want x. I get pi minus 1 equals 2 pi n. Divide both sides by pi minus 1, and you get 2 pi n over pi minus 1. It's going to generate solutions where n is some integer. Again, there's going to be other ones, and let's just talk about that. The first thing I start to realize is the sine function. You know, if I had one angle, I have another one, all right? So I want to point out like something like this over here. You're expecting, you know, two of these things, all right? So let me get my eraser out and get rid of this over here. And let's talk about the next thing I'd want to put down, all right? So let's just look at the picture again. And the picture is going to be, this is going to be rotating around now. Something like this over here. Okay? So what I'm going to do is just arbitrarily say there's some angle over here, theta. Right? Some angle theta. It produces a value over here. But there'd be a value over here too, by the way. All right? What would that value be for sine? Well, it's going to be the same value because it's really just the ordinate. Right? So the value here, the value there. What's the angle, though? The angle would be pi minus theta. All right, let's write that one down. So you get sine pi x equals, the angle now is going to be pi. Whoops, sorry about that. I forgot the sign. Sine. It's going to be pi minus x, I'm sorry. And then plus the repetition again, which is 2 pi n. All right. Now in the notes I'm using m because I'm going to say they could be different. All right. So let's write this over here. Pi x equals pi minus x to 2 pi m. X on one side, so you get pi x plus x. You get pi plus 2 pi m. I'm going to factor out an x. You get pi plus 1. I'm going to factor out a pi, and you get 1 plus 2m. All right? What's x going to be equal to? Pi 1 plus 2m over pi plus 1. All right? So I have two answers. Let's write them down for you. X equals 2 pi n. When I say I have two, it's an infinite number of answers, but two forms. And the other one's going to be x equals pi 1 plus 2m, pi plus 1. Again, n is an integer, any integer, and m is an integer, it's any integer. All right? There's my answers. All right? So I also want the Wolfram alpha, and I want to point out, I think it's probably a good idea, a little confusing problem. It's really not covered well at pre-calculus, but you should ask Wolfram alpha these questions too, so you see how it's doing. Again, I want to point out these are written over here for you. All right? Thank you.